Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You were giving Sobat and talking about that person is going to come to the point where in sajda at nighttime they say, Ya Rabbi, to go and say, Ya Rabbi, I'm very weak against my ego and I need help. When a person comes to that point that they understand their weakness against their ego and then they want to start asking properly madad from their shaykh at the time that they're fighting against their ego, how do they do that in the way that it's not just saying madad like a formula, but they're actually using it with intelligence and really with faith?
We're asking our shaykh to send us something, inshallah, that is going to benefit us. Knowledge that doesn't benefit us, there is a curse that comes with it. What about knowledge that benefits you and you're not using it? What do you think? A bigger curse that comes. Knowledge that you're not using. You're asking for forgiveness and you're asking for help. And you believe, and you have that knowledge that the help and the forgiveness and the madad is going to come. What makes a man to kick it away? What makes you to kick that help away? What? No, pride is there. Thinking you can do it yourself is there. Regardless. That's why we're in trouble. But what makes us to kick it away? When there is forgetfulness, when there is ghaflat. You only are that mode of insaf, regret, only at that time, but you're not using that moment of regret at least 5 times a day when you pray. Yes? You're supposed to have that regret at least 5 times. Now, if 5 times a day sincerely you're facing your Lord and you're counting not your glory, but you're counting astaghfirullah. Isn't it sunnat to make astaghfirullah? In our way, we're supposed to make astaghfirullah so many times a day. Every time we're making the namaz, we make astaghfirullah. So, what makes you to say astaghfirullah and there is no connection? When you don't connect it, when you don't remember why you're saying astaghfirullah for. Yeah, that time the astaghfirullah is just making fun. And that saying of astaghfirullah, there is gunah there. So you forget. Okay, you forget, right? So many of us. Allah is saying, we forget. Mankind is in ghaflat. Shaykh Effendi is saying, we forget. We forget that the angels, before we get up from our prayer place, Shaykh Effendi is saying, quoting from the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that the angels will take our namaz and throw it back to our faces. Because we forget who is Allah, we forget who is the Prophet, we forget who Ibadullah Salihin are. That we are made not only to give salawats to the Prophet ﷺ, to all prophets, but also to give salam to the servants of Allah and the Salihin of Allah. So you forget. What will make you to remember? You must remember. What makes you to remember? When you're around Ibadullah Salihin. When you're around people who will make you to remember. You don't want to be around people who make you to remember. You will not remember. You only remember when you like it. When you get really emotional, once in a while you cry, you remember. But when you're around people who makes you to remember, those ones, the servants of Allah and the righteous ones of Allah, that they fear Allah, you're around them. Even if you want to forget, they will remind you. But you can be around them too. You can be around them also physically. But if you're not with them, if you close your heart to them, you close your mind to them, you block yourself out from them, you don't talk to them, there is no connection to them, doesn't matter. Then you can be with them 40 years, you don't make 4 steps in tariqat. Because you pull yourself back and you think, no one can remind me, I'm better than everyone. And you don't look, you don't watch what is happening around to take lesson from it. You say it's nothing to do with me. When the Shaykh screams at someone, they say, oh, it's nothing to do with me. You're not taking it as the Shaykh screaming at me. I'm supposed to take lesson. When you see a wrong thing, you are judging that thing. You're not saying, maybe this is something for me to take lesson from. He's pointing to me. So it all brings back to sohbat, to be in association. Sahabe kiram, they were in association. In association is not just to wear same clothes, eat same food, pray next to each other also. If the hearts, they are not connected, then how? How? The hearts must believe and must thirst for the hearts of the ibadullahi salihin. You must thirst to have a jamaat, to hold on to each other. If you're not thirsty for that, yeah, you can come, you can pray, but your heart is thirsty for outside. Thirsty for your work, thirsty for your friends. There's anything that doesn't do with this. That's what your heart is thirsty for. So at that time, you still have not made a jamaat here. You can be here, like I said, 40 years. You have still not made a jamaat. We are trying to live by, making that important. The believers, they are like what? One body. Yes? They're like one body. Now ask yourself if you're like that. That you hurt when other people are hurting. You're happy when other people are happy. Or you become like one of these ones in the Akhir Zaman, living in America or any Western country, let's say, that you're just selfish, self-concerned. You don't put anyone before you. You definitely don't put the Jamaat before you. You put yourself, at most your family, first. So you can be going around, participating in the Jamaat even, but your heart is not there. You go back home, you close the door. This is where my love is. This is where my kingdom is. This is where it's most important for me. So we're not one body. Yeah, how we can be. We're looking to share Effendi. We don't even, not interested in him. To understand what is happening, to broaden, to start feeling, to start loving him. Understand, Sahabe Kiram, they would not be able to love each other if they did not love the Holy Prophet ﷺ first, more than anything else. Impossible for them to love each other. Yes or no? Your faith has to be complete there. So now check yourself. Now, if you have that connection to the Shaykh that is really strong, then the connection to those ones with faith, those righteous ones, will be strong too. Even if there's just one person, it'll be strong. And then you'll be able to check and balance each other naturally, because you're not alone. You don't feel that you're alone. You are in need. You're connecting to other people not because it's a hobby, not because, okay, because he's saying, let me try to be concerned about this one or that one, or try to have good friendship. No, when it becomes a necessity. But how? How are we going to have this kind of hunger, this kind of necessity when we're living here, when everything is just given to us, just like that, so easy, yes? Just like that, so easy. And everything that we're doing, wrong things that we're doing also, there is no real consequence, there is no smack. So we're living in those times. What is the key to paradise? Alayhi is saying. To say what? La ilaha illallah. But, he's saying, and our Shaykh has said this so many times. But what? If you don't what? You don't know? Yes. What? If you don't love one another. Who is he saying this to? The Sahaba Kiram. For all of humanity, if you don't love one another, it is as if you're not even saying that La ilaha illallah. I'm saying the meaning, I'm not saying the literal expression of that hadith. Your La ilaha illallah is not going to work so good. This is what it means, Islam, and Islam has always been an empire. No one gets it now because Islam is, there's no empire, there's no ummah, there's no connection, there's no unity. Everything is just shattered to pieces. And there are 1,000 heads now. So now how are you going to feel? And everyone is self-sufficient. That is hubub dunya. That is hubub dunya. In the dargah, you have hubub dunya. You're praying, you're fasting, you're doing everything, but you have the love of the world. Because the world pulls you away from the people of Akhirat. Impossible that you don't have any love for the world and you love the Akhirat and you're behaving like that. It's impossible. Then you start waking up and you say, okay, these are the ones who are going to be my neighbors. You ever think that way? No, you don't. These are the people that I'm going to be with forever. Don't we want to be with our Shaykh? Yes. That Shaykh is with murids. Those ones. Us? Are we thinking that? No. So you're not making real bonds with each other. Then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So that's why then you can just go back and forth, same. Because you don't take, you don't care, you don't get mixed with people like that. And it's difficult now for you to take any advice from people because you're separating yourself already. No reminding. You forget. As soon as you get up from sajda, you will forget. You understand? So this arrogance, this selfishness, it is very subtle, but it is there. Some thinking they are better, they're fooled by shaitan. Some shaitan telling them, oh, you are the worst one. Same. Yes, we're supposed to think that we are the worst one, but thinking that we're the worst one, if that's making us our faith to shake and not to believe in anything, and to want to separate from haqq and from this way, shaitan is playing games with you too. Because sincerely, if you think you're the worst one, you'll try to get better. Yes, you can't go lower than that, right? You're going to get better. But those ones who are tricked by shaitan, making them to become, especially this generation, they have nothing to worry about, nothing whatsoever. But there's no peace in their hearts. You can only have peace when you give peace. We're saying, Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Ya'udu salam. You are peace. From you comes peace. Peace returns back to you. We're saying assalamu alaikum to each other. What peace we're giving to each other? What peace are we taking? Oh no, we are separate. That's why. We want to be stuck in our own little separation. Shaitan is saying, no. No one understands you. You're the worst one. It's getting. Don't fight. Pull back. Surround yourself with this darkness that you're making to yourself. Don't listen to this. Not necessary. Yeah, those ones that are under that kind of influence. If I send you to Syria, or I send you to Ukraine, or I send you to Palestine, I say anywhere they're fighting, Chechenistan anymore? MMA maybe. Other places. Then you're going to tell me whether you still have that darkness or that. When it becomes necessary. So wake up. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha. So don't be just around people, same people that, Look to others. Speak to others. Do you understand? You only mix around with the same kind of people, you're not going to learn. Watch also. Learn what this one has. I don't have this. They have this. Learn. Let's not even enter into shame. Where they teach shame in this country? In some ways it is good. It makes everyone to be very confident, yes? But when it's not balanced, then there is no shyness, there is no shame. There is no personal auto check. There isn't. Whatever you think it is, it is. Because your whole life, whenever you think it is, people say, yeah, it is. So, watch out, inshallah. That's for me first and for everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Okay.